Penicillin. In 1928, Alexander Fleming returned from vacation to find mold growing on one of his petri dishes. Instead of tossing it, he looked closer and noticed that the mold had killed the bacteria around it. That mold turned out to be Penicillium notatum, and the substance it produced would become the world's first true antibiotic, penicillin. Fleming didn't immediately understand the full potential of what he'd found, and it would take over a decade for other scientists to figure out how to mass produce it. But once they did, it changed everything. Penicillin became a miracle drug, saving millions of lives during World War II and beyond. Today, antibiotics are a basic part of modern medicine. Microwave oven. In the 1940s, engineer Percy Spencer was working on radar equipment using magnetrons when he noticed something strange. A chocolate bar in his pocket had melted. Curious, he placed popcorn kernels near the device, and they popped. Next, he tried an egg, which exploded. Spencer realized that the microwaves emitted by the magnetron were heating food. He modified the equipment to focus that energy into a small box, and the first microwave oven was born. The early versions were massive and mostly used in commercial kitchens. By the 1970s, smaller home models became common. Today, microwave ovens are in almost every kitchen on Earth. X-rays. In 1895, German physicist Wilhelm Röntgen was experimenting with cathode ray tubes in his lab when he noticed something strange. A fluorescent screen across the room started to glow, even though it wasn't in the direct path of the rays. He realized that invisible rays were passing through solid objects and lighting up the screen. When he placed his hand in front of the tube, he saw the bones of his fingers outlined on a photographic plate. These rays could pass through flesh but not bone. He had discovered X-rays. Within weeks, X-rays were being used to examine broken bones. Röntgen's discovery was so unexpected that even he didn't know what the rays actually were. He just called them X for unknown. Velcro. In 1941, Swiss engineer Georges de Mestral went on a hunting trip and noticed that burrs kept sticking to his dog's fur and his clothes. Instead of ignoring them, he took one under a microscope and saw tiny hooks that latched onto the loops of fabric and hair. Inspired by nature, he began experimenting with materials to replicate the effect. After years of trial and error, he developed a two-sided fastener system, one side with tiny hooks, the other with soft loops. He named it Velcro, a combination of the French words velours, velvet, and crochet, hook. At first, the invention was ignored, but eventually it gained traction in everything from clothing to NASA spacesuits. Safety glass. In 1903, French chemist Edouard Benedictus accidentally knocked a glass flask off a shelf. To his surprise, it cracked but didn't shatter. He examined it and found that the flask had been coated with cellulose nitrate, a plastic-like substance. The glass had held together because of it. Realizing this could prevent injuries, he began developing a new type of safety glass by sandwiching plastic between layers of glass. The idea eventually led to laminated glass, which doesn't break into dangerous shards. It was first used in gas masks during World War I and later in car windshields. Today it's used in buildings, vehicles, and phones. Superglue. In 1942, scientists were trying to make clear plastic for gun sights when they stumbled on a chemical compound that stuck to everything. It was so sticky, in fact, that it ruined their equipment. They dismissed it as a failure. Years later, one of the researchers, Harry Coover, revisited the compound, cyanoacrylate, and realized its potential. Unlike most adhesives, it didn't need heat or pressure to work. It bonded instantly with moisture on surfaces. Superglue was born. The product was originally used in war zones to quickly seal wounds, and later sold commercially as an all-purpose household adhesive. Today, it's found in nearly every toolbox. Teflon. In 1938, a chemist named Roy Plunkett was trying to create a new kind of refrigerant. He stored a gas called tetrafluoroethylene in a pressurized canister, but when he opened it later, nothing came out. Curious, he cut open the canister and found a slippery white powder inside. The gas had polymerized into a new substance with incredibly low friction and high resistance to heat and chemicals. That substance became Teflon. It was first used in military and industrial applications, but eventually became famous for one thing: non-stick cookware. By the 1960s, Teflon-coated pans were everywhere. Artificial sweetener. In 1879, chemist Konstantin Fahlberg was working with coal tar derivatives at Johns Hopkins University. One day, he forgot to wash his hands before dinner and noticed his bread tasted sweet. Tracing it back to the lab, he found that a compound he'd handled earlier was the cause. He had discovered saccharin, the world's first artificial sweetener. Fahlberg immediately patented it and began mass-producing it. Though it faced controversy over health concerns, saccharin became popular during sugar shortages in the world wars and later as a diet product. Today, artificial sweeteners are a billion-dollar industry. Coca Cola. In 1886, pharmacist John Pemberton was trying to create a tonic to relieve headaches and boost energy. He mixed coca leaf extract with cola nut, sugar, and other ingredients to make a syrup. He took it to a local pharmacy in Atlanta, where it was accidentally mixed with carbonated water instead of regular water. Customers loved the fizzy drink, and Coca-Cola was born. Originally marketed as a medicine, it quickly became a popular refreshment. Pemberton never saw the full success of his invention. He died 2 years later and sold the formula before then. But today, Coca-Cola is one of the most recognized brands in the world. Post-it notes. In 1968, scientist Spencer Silver at 3M was trying to invent a super strong adhesive. Instead, he created a weak one, something that could stick to surfaces but peel off easily without leaving residue. It seemed useless at the time. For years, nobody knew what to do with it. Then in 1974, a colleague named Art Fry had an idea. He sang in a church choir and was tired of bookmarks falling out of his hymnal. So he used Silver's adhesive to stick notes in place. It worked perfectly. That small idea turned into Post-it notes. Launched in 1980, they became a global office staple. Anesthesia. In the 1800s, people experimented with gases like nitrous oxide and ether at parties, calling them laughing gas events. At one such event, a dentist named Horace Wells noticed someone injure themselves badly, yet they felt no pain under the gas. He realized it could be used during surgeries. Around the same time, another doctor, William Morton, used ether on a patient during a tooth extraction, and it worked. For centuries, surgery had been a brutal conscious experience. But now, patients could be unconscious and pain-free. What started as party entertainment led to one of the most important breakthroughs in medical history. Modern surgery wouldn't be possible without it. Plastic. In 1907, Belgian chemist Leo Baekeland was trying to develop a replacement for shellac, a natural resin used in electrical insulation. He mixed phenol and formaldehyde and accidentally created a hard, moldable substance that didn't conduct electricity or melt. He called it Bakelite, the first fully synthetic plastic. It was cheap, durable, and could be molded into almost anything. Soon, it was being used in phones, radios, jewelry, and countless other products. Baekeland had invented plastic without meaning to, and the world quickly followed. If you liked this video and want to see more of it, subscribe